Hello, this is the next cable in the Wikileaks series, and it is on the talk between Ambassador Michael Sisson and Crown Prince of Dubai. The summary is on the evening of January the 21st, Abu Dhabi Crown Prince and Deputy Supreme Leader Commander of UAE Armed Forces Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed, MBZ for short, Al Nahari, hosted CENTCOM Commander John Abazad for dinner. They discussed the regional security issues, but Iraq was clearly the focus of MBZ's interest. MBZ expressed lack of confidence in the ability in being able to work with the Maliki government, who everybody suspects is an Iranian agent. MBZ believes that the Saudis will not support any Sunni group in Iraq with al-Qaeda ties, but that the Saudis are firm in their resolve to counter Iran. MBZ reiterated UAE's interest in acquiring Predator B. Referring to the recent events in Somalia, MBZ commented the Somalia job was fantastic. Also present was the UAE's Chief of Staff, Lieutenant General Mohammed Thani Al-Rumathi, Director of Intelligence, Staff Brigadier General Engineer Essa Saif Mohammed Al-Mazuri, Commander of Special Operations, Major Generals Juma Ahmed Al-Barari Al-Faisal, and Commander of the UAE Air Force and Air Force Defence Staff of Air Vice Marshal Major General Mohammed Zawan Al-Gimzi. End of summary. Iraq. Clearly the focus of MDZ's discussion began with his pronouncement, "Let's talk about Iraq." General Abadiz noted that extremists on both ends of the Sunni-Shia spectrum are largely irretrievable, but we still have an opportunity to stabilise Iraq by reinforcing the moderate middle ground. Abazad said that he had little confidence in being able to work with this Maliki's government, saying, "Maliki, I think we are operating on different frequencies." No, different radio systems altogether. MBZ asked General Abazis what the US hoped to achieve with extra troops set to deploy to Iraq in 2007, and reiterated his concern about the level of ongoing violence against the Sunni. Abazid responded that violence in Iraq was highly localised, principally in the Baghdad area, and most of the rest of Iraq is quiet. The extra troops are intended to bring calm to Baghdad and give the government sufficient space and time to contain violence even further. It will also send a message that the US is not abandoning Iraq. MBZ stated that Ahmed Chalabi and others have made a big deal out of the Ba'athist threat, but said the Ba'athists were not and are not the real problem, even though the specific individuals linked to the Ba'ath Party are the problem. MBZ offered that the de-Ba'athification was and is unnecessary distraction, stating that pursuing a problem that doesn't really exist only leads to more problems. He said that Ayad Alawi a month ago, noting that Alawi was looking to the UAE, the United Arab Emirates, for support and assurances. MBZ said there is no assurance that the UAE can give him, adding that this is not his time. MBZ added that he believes that the Saudis will not assist Sunni groups in Iraq that are aligned with al-Qaeda. Iran. MBZ acknowledged that Tehran knows that the US is serious in its stance against Iranian proliferation. This can be clearly seen in how Iran is changing its tactics. Abazad pressed that the countries in the region should make stronger statements. Weaker statements only encourage the stronger statements. Weak statements encourage the Iranians. We need our friends to say that they stand with the Americans. MBZ avoided committing the UAE to anything like a public statement and shifted the discussion to other countries in the region, saying the Saudis need no encouragement. They are Wahhabis after all, and will resolutely stand against any Shia anywhere and counter them strongly. Agreeing that it is only a matter of time before the Iranians develop or acquire advanced weapons technologies, including MTCR controlled and UAV technology. MBZ asserted, "That's why we need it first. Give me Predator B," MBZ added. Iran has to know that there is a price to pay for every decision they make. They are expanding day by day. They have to be dealt with before they do something tragic. But that said, he continued, "We are the UAE and are not ready to confront Iran." Afghanistan and Pakistan. Abazed said MBZ thanked MBZ for the actions the UAE forces currently deployed in Afghanistan. MBZ reciprocated, "No, thank you. This has been a good chance for us and we have appreciated the opportunity." MBZ questioned the role of the Iranians were playing in Afghanistan. He further observed that Musharraf is not doing enough to engage the tribes in the south and needs to expand its efforts there. Lebanon and Hezbollah at Somalia. Knowing Lebanese Prime Minister Sonora's January 16th visit to the UAE, MBZ characterised Sonora as a good man. "We are supporting him." MBZ said that Hezbollah had made a big mistake in estimating its support in Lebanon and has played it wrong. They do not have the support of the majority of the Lebanese people. MBZ discussed that with Abazid the military technology that Hezbollah used in 2006, specifically the amount of anti-tank weapons that Hezbollah possessed and used against the Israelis. Abazid acknowledged that Hezbollah has access to weapons technology that most Arab states don't have. MBZ interrupted the conversation to state explicitly that he wants the US to understand that UAE was not involved in the transfer of those weapons or technologies in any way. Referring to the recent events in Somalia, MBZ commented, "The Somali job was fantastic." Thank you for listening.